to kneel, but to know the mythic host of shadow in their ancient molten glow.
Of white, from the highest throne to the lowest flame, all creation sings his name. Legions of the luminous fire, burning with celestial desire. Holy warriors, rise above, crowned in justice, crowned in love. Wings fall. wings scraping stone, a choir trembling on the edge of a prophecy long foretold. Halos dim to embers, trumpets crack with rust, and every oath the angel swore begins to taste like dust. Rifters open in the heavens, bleeding cold into the void. Michael rises with a burning spear, his voice a storm no demon can avoid. But from the pit the archfiends gather, crowned in shadow, carved in flame. Azazel roars with iron lungs, calling every demon by name. Break the gates, burn the throne, let the heavens reap what they have sown. Wings of light collide with claws of night. The sky becomes a battlefield of screams. Feathers ignite like falling stars, horns crack the pillars of creation's dreams. Seraph blades hum like molten suns, drums pound beneath the earth. Every strike rewrites the cosmos, every death gives a new realm birth. Holy ambience fractures into dark ambience. Choirs that start, bells warp. Gabriel chants the words of making, each syllable a tidal wave of light. But Beelzebub answers with the void song, a hymn that devours the day into night. Raphael's shield shatters like prophecy, Ariel's flame gutters in the storm. The heavens tremble as the archdemons reshape creation's form. Let the righteous bleed, let the wicked rise, let the truth be torn from the maker's lies. The firmament cracks like ancient bone, the stars flicker out one by one. Angels fall like burning snow, demons rise like a second sun. The battlefield becomes a graveyard of halos drowned in ash, and every soul, divine or damned, is swallowed by the final clash. In the silence after ruin, a single voice remains, neither angel nor demon, just the echo of their chains. A hymn without allegiance, a requiem without a throne, singing to a broken cosmos that must rebuild itself alone. dissonance. North wind rising, blood moon guiding. Break the gate, break the gate. Spirit hunger, still in the fog and the night turns red. Raven circle high where the omen bled. Castle walls tremble at the northern roar. Vikings at the gate like a tidal war. Black banners in the moonlight sway. Knights trembling in their iron array. The king prays hard, but the gods don't stay. The north remembers its dead today. We break the crown, we burn the throne. Iron sings when the shields collide. Your kingdom falls, your bloodstone home. When the Northmen rise like a storm inside. Fire in the halls, hear the war horn cry. Vikings at the gate, and the king must die. Knights in silver, trembling hands, praying to gods who don't know their land. Swords like candles in a hurricane, armor cracking under northern pain. Walls break, kings fall, oaths shake, no mercy in the winter's breath. Only the rhythm of a righteous death. Let the ramparts crumble, let the blood bells ring. Let the king's last heartbeat feed the raven's wing. We are the storm you feared, the frost you denied, the axe in the dark, the night you can't hide. Smoke drifting through shattered halls, a crown lies cracked on the stone. The north wind exhales. The throne remembers the touch of iron. Torches flicker out in the choking smoke. The king stands alone.
end of days.
Like a warning in the bones, smoke curls slow through abandoned stones. Footsteps echo in a sepia street where jazz ghosts dance to a broken beat. A gramophone spins in a shattered hall, playing swing for the rise and fall. Trumpets cry like angels out of tune as bomb light flickers like a dying moon.
Tick-tock hearts in a world undone, marching to the rhythm of a loaded gun.
History breathes in a minor key,
dragging the future through the debris.
Spin the wheel in the brass age night, where swing meets smoke and fear meets flight, where shadows waltz through the sirens roar, and every heartbeat drums for war.
Raise the dust in the neon gloom, where hope tap dances with impending doom.
In the brass age, nothing stays, only ashes learn the old world ways. Steel helmets gleam in the lantern haze, faces carved by 1,000 days. Trip-hop bass like a heartbeat slow, pulsing under fields where the lost ones go. A violin sighs through the winter mud, strings soaked deep in a soldier's blood, yet swing rhythms spark in the frozen air. A ghostly cabaret of despair.
Piano keys fall like Russian tears, soft as the silence between the years. Ink on paper trembling thin, words of love swallowed by the wind.
Electro swing snaps like a broken vow, a future promised but forgotten now. And every letter burned away becomes a drumbeat in the fray.
Shadows moan through the blackout rain, carrying centuries of human pain. Trip-hop drums pulse under broken glass as soldiers fade like ghosts that pass.
Electro swing horns twist through the dark, a carnival tune with a funeral spark. Every note a memory scorched, every rhythm a world reforged.
Iron birds carve fire in the sky, writing elegies for those who die. History hums in a fractured key, a requiem for what used to be.
Spin the wheel in the brass age night, where swing meets smoke and fear meets flight, where shadows waltz through the sirens roar, and every heartbeat drums for war.
Raise the dust in the neon gloom, where hope tap dances with impending doom.
In the brass age, nothing stays, only ashes learn the old world ways. Drums roll low like a distant storm, a world half dead trying to reform. Shallows rise with a trembling cry as dawn bleeds pale across the sky. Boots march on in a shifting line, history bending on a fall thin spine, and swing horns flare like a final stand. A brass bright spark in a ruined land.
Ruins glow gold in the twilight dust, monuments crack but refusing rust. Trip-hop echoes through empty squares, where laughter once tangled with thinning air.
A lone accordion breathes a again, playing hope through the weight of sin. And dancers rise from the sword and stone, rebuilding rhythm from the unknown. Spin the wheel in the brass age night, where swing meets smoke and fear meets fight, where shadows waltz through the sirens roar, and every heartbeat drums for war.
Raise the dust in the neon gloom, where hope tap dances with impending doom.
In the brass age, nothing stays, only ashes learn the old world ways.
Low drums like hooves on the sudden earth, Irish riders in a line without end. Smoke rises black from the fields of the poor, a kingdom's hunger fed by fire again. From
The war drum call,
from
the banners fall.
Ashwood bows bend beneath the rain, 1,000 strings hum like swarming flies. Feathered death arcs through the dusk, and nights fall screaming beneath peasant skies. Hail of thorns,
The sky grown grim,
hail of thorns.
the daylight dim.
Blackened bells toll in empty towns, the dead outnumber the living by far. No sword, no crown, no king's decree
Can halt the march of the pestilent star.
Cold is the breath of the wandering priest,
Cold is the hand of the famine beast.
stones from engines crash like thunder.
Walls shudder under the weight of fate. Torches bloom along the ramparts, and hope walks in through the city gate.
Rise, rise,
The maiden cries,
rise, rise.
let France arise.
Steel once shone with noble vows, now rusts in trenches of blood and clay.
The age of nights dies choking as gunpowder burns a darker day.
Boom of the cannon,
The old world breaks.
boom of the cannon.
The new world wakes.
alone.
They shaved his head, carved out the fear, said, Marine, you belong to the war machine. And he swallowed the fire. Let the steel replace the dream. Push the earth until it breaks, run the miles until you fade. Every scream becomes a prayer, every bruise becomes a blade. He learned to stand when others fell, he learned to fight inside his head. Then the sky tore open like a wound, alien thunder drowning out the moon. Cities burn, the ocean screaming, brothers dying while he's still breathing. Waters crackle through the static, find the mothership and this bloody panic. He watched them drop one by one, names swallowed by the smoke, hands reaching for him through the dark. Before the darkness finally broke, he carried their ghosts in his lungs. Every breath a funeral drum. Alone in the corridors of alien bone, gunfire echoing like a dying sun. He carved a path through shrieking light, a mortal storm in a cosmic night. He planted the bomb with shaking hands, a final promise to his fallen band. Then the general rose, a titan of war, blazed like galaxies in orbit, eyes like dying stars. They cut through him, tore his leg from the world beneath him, but he roared back with everything left, drove steel through his heart, and stole one last breath. Crawling, bleeding, dragging fate, he threw himself through the closing gate, fell into the void as the ship ignited. The sun bright bloom where death was righted. The mothership shattered, a cosmic requiem for the damned. Manic screaming, hands on his chest, trying to stitch the world back together, trying to hold him here a little longer, but his blood was already drifting. Somewhere between the stars, he smiled through the pain, whispered through the static in his lungs. Tell my brothers I finished the fight, and the light took him before the next breath came. He was born with a rifle sleep, where the flags hang heavy with ghosts. A newborn wrapped in camouflage cloth, cradled by a man carved from woe. No cradle songs, only cadence. No lullabies, only orders. No childhood, only purpose.
steel floors for nursery rooms. Blueprints around his crib. Every breath a drill, every heartbeat a march. The drill sergeant watched him like a storm on the horizon, raised him like a weapon forged in fire, but loved him like a son he never had. He learned to walk in formation, learned to speak in commands, learned to think 10 steps ahead before most kids learn their names. He wasn't born into the Marines. He was claimed by them. Born in the barracks, raised by the roar, built from the ashes of every war before. Mind like a weapon, heart like a drum. He never asked for greatness, he just became the one. Oh, the chosen son of the battlefield's breath, marching with angels through the valley of death. When he hit the age for basic, they whispered legends in the halls. Kids been training since diapers. Kids got eyes like he's seen it all. He stepped into the gauntlet like it was just another morning run. Every test perfect, every shot dead center, every drill flawless. He passed with 100% accuracy without breaking a sweat. He didn't rise through the ranks, the ranks rose to meet him. He wasn't trying to be a hero, he wasn't trying to be a god. He just followed the voice of the man who raised him, the drill sergeant who taught him how to breathe. Born in the barracks, raised by the roar, built from the ashes of every war before. Mind like a weapon, heart like a drum. He never asked for greatness, he just became the one. Oh, the chosen son of the battlefield's breath, marching with angels through the valley of death. Lieutenant at 19, leading men twice his age. 6 months in the fire, 6 months in the rage. Hundreds fell before his team, hundreds more behind. He carved a path through enemy lines, like a prophet with a rifle in his hands. He didn't celebrate the kills, he counted the ones he saved. He carried every name like a stone in his chest. Lieutenant first class now, same team at his back. Another 6 months of thunder, another 6 months of black. They fought through cities swallowed by smoke, through nights where the sky forgot the stars. Another few hundred enemies fell, but he never lost a man, not yet. Captain now. Same team, same loyalty, same fire, but this time the enemy came like a tidal wave of bodies, thousands screaming for blood. They surrounded the squad, a circle of death, tightening with every breath. Ammo burning low, hope burning slower. He kept shouting orders, kept pulling brothers back to their feet. But half the team fell before the sun even rose. Born in the barracks, raised by the roar, built from the ashes of every war before. Mind like a weapon, heart like a drum. He never asked for greatness, he just became the one. Oh, the chosen son of the battlefield's breath, marching with angels through the valley of death. Only 3 left now. He calls in the airstrike, voice steady while the world collapses. Hundreds still closing in, claws of war dragging at their heels. Then another brother falls, shot through the chest before he could even scream. Now it's just two
50. Two against the impossible.
Two against the end.
The sky glows with incoming fire. The earth trembles beneath their boots. He grips his rifle, looks at the last man beside him, and whispers, "We don't die today."
The sky split open like a judgment. A burning halo falling from the heavens. Ash turned to light, light turned to wrath, wrath turned to salvation.
They stood in the center of the storm, like a prophet carved from steel.
Strike head like the fist of a god. Fire rolling across the valley and waves. 50 enemies swallowed in the blaze. Screams drown beneath the roar of the sky. He shielded his last brother with his own body. He tearing at his armor. Ash clinging to his skin like war paint. But he didn't bow, he didn't break. He rose through the fire like a monument. Smoke in his lungs, blood in his teeth, but his voice cut through the chaos. On your feet, we're not done.
And the last man rose because he believed it.
Through the firestorm, through the flood,
Through the ashes of the fallen and the rivers of blood.
he walks like a titan, unbroken, unscarred.
A soldier reborn in the heart of the bombard.
The angel screamed his name in the smoke.
A legend rising where the battlefield broke.
But not all the enemies died. Some crawled from the flames, burning, limping, furious, eyes glowing with the last spark of hate. 50 became 20, 20 became 10, 10 became a circle tightening around them. Weapons shaking, voices chanting in a language of vengeance. He wiped the soot from his eyes, lifted his rifle and whispered, "Round two." Boots in the ash, hard like thunder. 2 against 10, ready to tear the world asunder.
Every shot of prophecy, every breath of vow. We fought like the war was happening now.
They fought back to back, two shadows in a burning world. But fate is a cruel marksman. A bullet found the last brother's spine, dropped him to his knees before he could even scream. He caught him, held him, lowered him gently into the ash.
The dying man smiled through the blood.
You were right, we didn't die today. Then the light left his eyes like a star going dark.
He closed the soldier's eye with hands that had never trembled.
But now they did, just once, just
Long enough to say goodbye.
He stood alone now, one man against the remnants of an army. 10 enemies left, weapons raised, fear in their eyes.
Because they finally understood who they were facing.
He stepped forward, pain forgotten, destiny burning in his chest.
Through the firestorm, through the flood, through the ashes of the fallen and the rivers of ends with me.
The firestar faded, but the silence that followed was louder than the bombs. He stood alone in the ashes. One man where a squad once lived. The sky wept smoke. The earth held its breath, and he walked out of the inferno, carrying the weight of every ghost. They spoke to him, but he didn't hear the words. He stared at the burning valley as the chopper rose, watching the fire shrink but never fade. They called him a hero, pinned a medal to his chest for surviving the impossible, for saving the mission, for standing when no one else could. But he tore the medal off before the camera's flash, dropped it on the floor like it weighed 1,000 pounds. He said only one thing: give it to the ones who didn't come back. He carried the ghost, he carried the blame, he carried the fire that whispered his name. A soldier reborn in the shadow of loss, a legend ascending through ruin and cost. The angels watched him break and rise, a warrior forged where the battlefield dies. Nights became battlegrounds, dreams became ambushes. Every shadow looked like the last brother falling. Every heartbeat sounded like gunfire. He trained harder, ran farther, shot longer, tried to outrun the memories that clung to him like smoke. But the fracture came quietly, a moment of stillness, a breath that didn't feel like illness, a realization he wasn't the same man who walked into that third door. Something inside him had changed shape. They approached him in the dark, two men in suits, one woman with eyes like she'd seen the same ghost. They didn't salute, they didn't smile, they didn't thank him for his
ritual ended, when the tests were complete, when the fire inside him finally found its shape. They handed him a new uniform, black, unmarked, silent, a new name, a new purpose, a new war. He looked at the insignia, a symbol he didn't recognize, but somehow understood. And he whispered, not to them, but to the ghost behind him,
I won't fail again.
He returned to the field, not as a soldier, not as a recruit, but as the weapon they forged in the dark halls of Black Ops. No insignia, no rank, only purpose. The final mission waited for him, like destiny carved in stone. The last enemies gathered in the ruins, the remnants of the force that took his brothers from him. They thought they were hunters, they thought they were shadows, they thought they were the end.
But he walked into the battlefield with the calm of a man who had already survived the impossible.
Every step was memory, every breath was a vow, every heartbeat was a drum calling the war to its final chapter. He didn't fight for glory, he didn't fight for revenge. He fought to close the book so no one else would blame for it.
He rose through the fire, he rose through the pain. He carried the ghost that whispered his name.
A warrior forged in the darkest of days, now ending the war in a halo of haze.
The angels watched him finish the fight, a legend walking out of endless night.
The final enemy stood before him, not brave, not defiant, just afraid. He lowered his weapon, not out of mercy, but because the war was already over. The enemy dropped theirs too, and the silence that followed was the first peace he'd heard in years.
He turned away, leaving the battlefield behind, like a man stepping out of a nightmare. They welcomed him home with applause, with medals, with
Speeches he didn't hear. He smiled for the cameras, but his eyes stayed distant, fixed on places no one else could see. Nights became battlegrounds again, dreams became ambushes. Every quiet room felt like a trap, every sudden sound pulled him back into the fire.
He wasn't broken, he wasn't weak, he was a man carrying too many memories for one.
silver, hand shaking not from fear, but from age he found small joys. Sunlight on the porch, warm coffee in the morning, the sound of rain that didn't remind him of gunfire. He lived long enough to see peace become real, long enough to forgive himself for surviving.
He died in his sleep, not in battle, not in fire, but in the quiet warmth of a life finally allowed to rest.
No explosions, no enemies, no ghosts calling his name.
Just peace,
Just brave, just the soft closing of a long, heavy book. And somewhere in the place where warriors go, when the war is finally done, his brothers waited for him with open arms.
the legend ended, the man was free.
The sky cracks open, another boom and my chest caves in. Fireworks bloom like burning wounds, and I'm back in the dirt again. My heartbeat turns to rotor blades, my breath becomes a warning flare, and every face around me fades like smoke dissolving in the air. I tell myself I'm here, but the past keeps dragging chains. Every fighter jet overhead sounds like God
Screaming my name,
I walk through a sky full of ghosts. Every flash is a memory tearing me open. I'm trying to break through the holy light, but the thunder keeps my scars awoken. I'm not broken, I'm surviving the echoes that won't let go.
bomber shadows crawl across the sun, and the ground trembles like it remembers me. Gunfire in the distance turns my bones into cracked concrete. People laugh at the fireworks, but to me they're falling worlds. Shrapnel dreams and the sound of boys who never grew old. Sanctus, but the choir can't drown the war inside. I kneel in the ashes of yesterday and pray the next blast won't take my. I walk through a sky full of ghosts, but I'm still standing in the smoke. If heaven wants to test me again, I'll rise through every thunderstroke. I'm not broken, I'm the fire that survived the fire. Don't light that fuse, don't light that fuse. You don't know what it wakes in me. Fireworks crack and my pulse detonates. I taste metal in my mouth, I feel the dirt under my nails. I hear the screams I buried under years of silence. Every loud noise is a hand dragging me back into violence. My trigger heart keeps misfiring. Sparks in the sky turn into sirens. I'm tired of fighting shadows that wear the faces of my nightmares. I'm here, but the past keeps pulling the pin.
keeps misfiring, but I'm still here, still rising. Every blast tries to claim me, but I refuse to fall again. The night is quiet until it isn't. A single firework blows, and the world collapses inward. My hands shake like broken prayer beats. My breath stutters like a dying hymn. I tell myself it's safe, but my body doesn't listen. It's the sound that unmakes me, the thunder that rewrites my bones. I'm a man stitched together from memories that won't stay gone. I'm trying to live in the present, but the past keeps calling me home. Fighter jets, scars in the sky, and I feel the old fear rising. Bomber drones hum like funeral bells, and my heartbeat starts collapsing. Gunfire in the distance turns my spine to shattered glass. I'm not afraid of dying, I'm afraid of going back. I whisper to myself, you survived, you survived, you survived. But the echoes don't believe me. It's the sound that unmakes me, but I'm still rebuilding every day. I carry the war inside my skull, but I won't let it take me away.
The war-scarred man walks through the ashes of every dawn. 9 winters of battle carved into his bones, steel in his breath, thunder in his veins. But the sky stays silent, no Valkyrie descends. He whispers to the storm, why does death refuse me? The wind dances with holy sin, fire, a choir of ghosts humming his name. I've bled for the throne of the gods. I've drowned in the roar of 1,000 wars. Yet Valhalla does not call my name. So I stand unbroken, waiting for the final door.
Every night the battlefield returns, a darkness hums beneath his ribs. He feels the spear of fate hovering, but it never strikes.
It only watches. Holy light rises like a cathedral of frost. Darkness coils like serpents around his boots. He screams to the heavens, if I must die, then let it be worthy.
I walk the edge of eternity. The warrior denied his final fire. When the last war comes for me,
I will rise, and Valhalla will thunder open.
boots on broken earth, he's the last echo of a war that never ends. Every strike should have been his final breath, but fate keeps dragging him forward. I'm the undying march, the soldier the gods forgot. If death won't take me,
Then I'll carve my own path.
death's hands. Why do I still breathe? Why does the spear avoid my heart? I've given everything to the battlefield, yet the gates of Valhalla